Welcome to another episode of Mathematics Tutorials brought to you by Maske Mathematics Tutorials. My name is Eric. Now, in this episode, we're going to solve a problem that was posted on Facebook. Now, this question is a very important question which involves a lot of rules or concepts in the other fields of mathematics to be brought together to solve. So, just watch me and see how this question will be solved. All right. Now, can you solve this equation? Now, we have x cubed, that is x cubed plus 4x is equal to 8. And then the question is x to the 7th, that is x to the 7th, plus 64x squared is equal to what? So this is equal to question mark. So we are to find what the expression x to the 7 plus 64x squared will give us. All right. So now let's rule a line over here so that we put the solution over there. So let's rule a line over here and let's put the solution at this side. So solution, that's what we have. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate this equation to get this x to the 7 plus 64x squared from it. So our aim is to make sure that we shall have x to the 7 plus 64x squared to be equal to something or to be equal to some other terms. Now let's see how that will come out. So let's put here x cubed, since that is our principal equation. So x cubed plus 4x is equal to 8. This is what we have. Now, what we're going to do is that let's rewrite this equation by isolating our x cubed. So we shall have x cubed to be equal to x cubed is equal to 8 minus 4x. This is what we have. Now, having this equation, what we're going to do is that let's square both sides of, so we have this binomial by subtracting 4x from both sides. So let's square both sides of this equation. So we shall square x cubed and square this binomial also. So we shall have x cubed squared. This will be equal to the square of this binomial, which is 8 minus 4x also squared. So this is what we have. Now, what do we do here? By using, now this is going to multiply out, so we are going to have x to the 6. So the powers will multiply, so we shall have x to the 6. Let's write that 6 properly. So we have x to the 6 to be equal to, now expanding this binomial, that is 8 minus 4x squared, we shall have 8 squared will give us 64. And then the product of twice the product of these two terms, that is going to be negative 32 times 2, x will give us minus 64x. So this will give us negative 64x. And then squaring 4x will give us 16x squared. So this will give us 16x squared. So this is what we have. So let's just write it well, properly, so that we can have space. So this will be equal to, this x to the 6 will be, pardon me for this. So this is going to be, if we square this binomial, we are going to have 8 squared would give us 64. This will be minus twice the product of these two numbers over here. That is 4 times or 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. Twice the product of this and this will give us negative 64x. So negative 64x. This will be, if we square negative 4x, we shall have plus 16x squared. So this is what we have. Now, what we're going to do is, our aim is to have x to the 7th at this side, at the left side. But then we have x to the 6th. So what are we going to do to this to get x to the 7th? But remember, whatever we do to the left side, we must do the same thing to the right side. Now let's come here. By applying the laws of indices. So what we're going to do is, we know that x to the 6 times x. All right. So if we multiply x to the 6 by x, this x is having a power of 1. This is the same as x raised to the power 6 plus 1. So this is the same as x raised to the power 7, or x to the 7th. So that means we are going to multiply x to the 6 by x. All right. So multiplying x to the 6 by x, we shall have a power of 1, which will add up to 6 and making it x to the 7th. So here, we're going to multiply both sides by x. So we multiply this by x to the 6 by x. And then we multiply this trinomial also by x. So this is going to be 64 minus 64x, minus 64x plus 16x squared. Oh, we bring a bracket over here. So now what do we do? By distributing this x, we have x to the 7th, and then distributing this x to this trinomial, what are we going to have? We are also going to have 64x minus 64x squared, then plus 16x cubed. This is what we have, 16x cubed. All right. So here we have x to the 7th. But then all that we are trying to do is to make sure that we shall have this expression x to the 7th plus 64x squared to be equal to something. So we want to have x to the 7th plus 64x squared at the left side. So we look through this equation. What are we going to do? We see negative 64x squared over here. When negative 64x squared crosses the equal sign to the left side, it will be positive, so it will be plus 64x squared. So we shall have x to the 7th plus 64x squared, which we are looking for on the left. This will be equal to, we have 64x and plus 16x cubed. This is what we have. All right, so let's continue from this part of the pot. So now, what do? You could see that we've got on the left side x to the 7th plus 64x squared to be equal to something what we were looking for. But then, when you study this equation carefully, you will see that here, there is something common here. 16 is common to both sides, which we need to factor. So let's have x to the 7th. So x to the 7th, let's write it properly. X to the 7th plus 64x squared. This is equal to, we need to factor out, because 16 is common to itself and 64. So we have 16 out. What is left here will be 4x plus x cubed. So that when we multiply 16 by 4x, we shall have 64x. When we multiply 16 by x cubed, we shall have 16x cubed. But remember that here, this 4x plus x cubed is the same as this x cubed plus 4x. That is the commutative property of addition. Now, the commutative property of addition states that the sum of two numbers remains the same in whatever order it is being added. All right. So whatever the order is, when two numbers are being added, their sum remains the same. It follows that x cubed plus 4x is the same as 4x plus x cubed. That is what it means. So what is here is the same as this. So we are going to, if x cubed plus 4x is equal to 4x plus x cubed, which is equal to 8, we are going to substitute the value of 8 here in this bracket. So this will be 8. So we shall have x to the 7th plus 64x squared is equal to 16 multiplying 8. So this is 8. And so x to the 7th plus 64x squared, this is equal to 16 by 8, 68, 48. So 12, that is 128. So we shall have 128. So it follows that x to the 7th plus 64x squared is equal to 128. I hope you do understand. Now, to know and develop the idea of solving equations like this, do subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you will familiarize yourself with questions like this and more, and many other topics, solutions to examination type questions and past questions, SAT questions, that is SAT questions, and many more. So do subscribe and be notified whenever we upload a new video. And then also don't forget to give this video a thumb up, and then also don't forget to share this with your friends. The page is Mathscare Mathematics Tutorials. Thank you very much for watching. See you in our next or other videos. Bye-bye.